In the heart of the American Midwest, nestled in a quiet community, a chilling tale began to unfold, one that would send shockwaves across the nation and challenge our perceptions of motherhood, trust, and deception. At the center of this narrative stood Gypsy Rose Blanchard, a seemingly fragile young woman who for years was believed to suffer from debilitating diseases. Wheelchair-bound, and with a mind that, according to her mother Dee Dee Blanchard, was trapped in perpetual childhood, Gypsy was the very picture of vulnerability. Dee Dee, ever the doting mother, had spun a tale of her daughter's battles with muscular dystrophy, leukemia, and a slew of other ailments, engendering sympathy and support from an unsuspecting public. Yet, beneath the surface of this tragic tableau lay a sinister reality. Gypsy was not sick. Every symptom, every hospital visit, and every word of concern was part of an elaborate ruse masterminded by Dee Dee, a chilling manifestation of Munchausen by proxy syndrome, MBP. This rare form of abuse, where a guardian feigns or induces illnesses in their charge for attention, was Dee Dee's chosen method of control over her daughter. Munchausen by proxy is incredibly rare. Some hospital-based studies suggest that 0.5% to 2% of children admitted to hospitals with chronic symptoms may be victims of MBP. However, because MBP involves deception, it is often underdiagnosed or misdiagnosed. The very concept of MBP is chilling, a caregiver intentionally causing or exaggerating illnesses in their charge for attention or other gains. And while Gypsy Rose Blanchard's story is among the most well-known, she wasn't the first to be entangled in such a horrifying web. One of the first known cases can be traced back to the 1979 trial of Priscilla Phillips. Just 2 years after the disorder was first identified in the medical journal, The Lancet, Phillips found herself at the epicenter of a criminal investigation. In the mid-1970s, she and her husband adopted a baby girl from Korea. Over time, the child exhibited a perplexing array of symptoms, eluding medical explanation. Tragically, she died in 1977. In a haunting repeat, another adopted daughter from Korea exhibited similar symptoms under Phillips's care. Investigations revealed a shocking truth. Phillips had been poisoning the baby's formula with baking soda. Convicted of murder and endangerment, Phillips became the first person legally penalized for what would later be understood as MBP. Then, in the 1990s, the case of Kathy and Jennifer Bush came into light. Kathy, citing her daughter Jennifer's extensive health issues, became a notable advocate for health insurance reform. Jennifer was reportedly suffering from a wide range of symptoms, including seizures, apnea, and infections. With Jennifer hospitalized over 200 times by the age of 8, the medical community grew suspicious. Their doubts intensified when Jennifer's condition seemed to inexplicably improve in medical care but deteriorate at home. Some staff members began to suspect that Kathy was causing or exaggerating Jennifer's symptoms. Additionally, they discovered that Jennifer's blood had trace amounts of drugs that hadn't been prescribed to her. Jennifer was separated from her family in 1996, and her health dramatically improved. Following this, Kathy Bush was arrested and charged with child abuse and fraud. Prosecutors believed she was making Jennifer sick intentionally and benefiting from the attention and financial support that came from Jennifer's illnesses. During Kathy Bush's trial, the defense argued that Jennifer genuinely had medical problems and that the charges were based on misunderstandings and overzealous doctors. However, in 1999, Kathy was found guilty of aggravated child abuse and fraud. She was sentenced to 5 years in prison and served 3 years before being released. While the case remains contentious, with some believing Jennifer truly suffered genuine medical issues, the parallels to other MBP cases are hard to ignore. But what about Gypsy Rose? As Gypsy Rose grew older, her world, once confined to the 4 walls of their home and the stories her mother told, expanded with the advent of the internet. There, she met Nick Godejohn. Their relationship, both an escape and an intense bond, became the catalyst for the events that would shatter the facade Dee Dee had meticulously crafted. Godejohn would later reminisce from prison about their connection, emphasizing the intensity of their short time together. Those 5 days were the most intense and magical and awe-inspiring days I've ever had, he mused. But with passion came desperation. In June 2015, Dee Dee Blanchard was found dead, catapulting Gypsy and Godejohn into the national spotlight as the main suspects. As investigations deepened, the layers of deception were peeled back. The world learned of Dee Dee's manipulations, including her ability to keep even medical professionals in the dark. Dr. Bernardo Flasterstein, for instance, had expressed doubts about Gypsy's purported muscular dystrophy diagnosis after her tests showed no signs of the disease. Public sentiment around Gypsy's role in the murder began to shift. Was she a cold-blooded killer or a desperate victim seeking an escape from a life of torment? Gypsy's voice, silenced for so long by her mother, finally resonated in The Prison Confessions of Gypsy Rose Blanchard. She asserted, "After a lifetime of silence, I am unapologetically myself." The courts delivered their verdicts. Gypsy, with a guilty plea to second-degree murder, received a 10-year sentence, while Godejohn, deemed the primary executor of the crime, was sentenced to life without parole. However, in a testament to the complexities of the case, Gypsy's journey took another unexpected turn. Granted parole at 32 years old, she is now poised for release in December, offering her a second chance at life. The saga of Gypsy Rose Blanchard challenges us to re-examine our understanding of victimhood, deception, and the haunting intricacies of the human psyche. As more chapters of her life are written, the world watches, captivated by the resilience of a woman once silenced, now determined to reclaim her voice. For further updates regarding Gypsy Rose, or to hear other darkly fascinating stories similar to this, subscribe now to Really Unreal.